Good evening, everybody, and welcome to my first 30-minute show on A1R Radio and Instruct TV, straight talking from spirit, because I like to talk straight, if you haven't guessed by now. So, first of all, thank you for everybody that entered the competition to win a free reading with me after the show today. We do have a winner. It's a lady called Charlene Best. I know absolutely nothing about her other than she lives in Dorset and it's in the UK. So after the show, I'll just grab a drink and then I'll be giving you a call, Charlene. And I look forward to speaking to you then. If you didn't win, don't worry. There will be other things coming up over the weeks that we will do little treats for you, maybe another reading with me or whatever. But there will be other things coming up for you. But thank you anyway for everybody that entered. So before I take a call today, I wanted to talk a little bit about, again, how we get information, because something happened on the show last week, which I need to explain what happens as a psychic or as a medium when we receive information. Firstly, they talk to us on levels, or they do me. Anyway, let's talk about me, because I can't talk about every medium out there, but certainly when I get information, I get it on levels. So if I talk to you on your level, I'm talking about either you or partners, brothers, sisters, cousins, friends. So it's somebody on your level. So it's your age group. It's that age group. If I say upper level, I'm talking on the mum and dad level, and it isn't always mum and dad. It can be uncles, it can be aunts, it can be stepdads, it can be in-laws or outlaws, whichever way you want to look at them. It can be even friends of the family that you've known since you were a child, or you've been brought. Some people are more like aunts and uncles, even though they're not officially aunts and uncles. So again, it's that level for you. If we go upper level again, we're talking about grandparents level, and this is where it always becomes more difficult, because whilst we might know our grandparents, we don't always know their brothers or sisters and their cousins and so on and so forth. And again, upper level again, it's harder because it's like their parents, which we don't know. So very often I will give a name to somebody and they don't necessarily understand it at the time. And I go, well, okay, but they keep giving it to me, and I'll explain that in a minute. But when I say they keep giving it to me, I say, just take it and we'll figure it out later. And often they'll come back to me and say, do you know, I didn't know about this great uncle, or I didn't know about this person, but I do now, and I now understand the history, whatever it was that came through. So what happened last week was I had a lady called Sona, and her mum came through very strongly and wanted to talk about a little boy, and she kept saying, no, I don't have a little boy. And I just kept going, what happened? I go back to spirit and go, are you sure? And he says, no boy. She comes back down and goes, no, I want to talk about the boy. Then she goes, no boy. So it's literally, you think it's a two-way conversation. It's actually a 3 or 4-way conversation, because I'm going back and checking with spirit on the information I'm getting. It got to the point where, and this does happen quite a lot, that spirit wouldn't let me move past, no, you have to acknowledge the boy. The listener had to recognize the boy before she would allow to move on, because her mum wanted the boy to be recognized. And it was her sister's boy. Now, when you come from reading, it's really important to remain open, because not all the messages are going to be about you, sadly. So how can I explain it? It's their opportunity to speak to somebody in your family that they can get messages out to people, and you become the medium's medium, is the best way I can describe it. So it could be a message for your brother. It could be a message for your cousin. It could be a message for your mum if you're sitting there and somebody else has come through and wants to give her a message. So always remain very open, but please understand that all we can do as a medium is give you what we're getting. And if we keep getting it and we get stuck, they don't let us move on. So I always say to people, do you know what? Let's just park that. Let's just take it, because if we accept it, they'll move on to something else. But we do need to do that. And that wasn't Sona's fault, because maybe she hadn't had a reading before. It was just that they get frustrated. And I was like, I'm stuck. And I didn't know what to do. So it's like, I'm stuck here. So I'm just explaining it for that reason. And it also means that we're not eating up valuable time and being able to move on. The other thing is that when you're getting a message, you will never understand every message all the time. I had a reading yesterday myself with the fabulous Tony Stockwell, and I'd been trying to get in for years for a reading with him, and I finally got one. And most of what he said, I understood. You might, well, you're not going to know this, but my husband passed last year, and one thing I wanted was obviously some messages from him, and that came through, and some very personal messages that only I would know, or situations about him which I only knew, which was fabulous. But there were some other messages I didn't understand, and we said, let's just leave it, and that might be something for the future, because we didn't understand exactly what was going on at that time. The other thing is that I personally can tell you, in 2018, I just finished with a client, and then I had a little gap. And my father, who'd been passed a long time, he's been past 40 odd years now, came through, and he said to me very clearly, Lesley, you need to slow down. You need to look after yourself better. Stop worrying about money, and we will look after you. And that was the 4 things he said. And my father was the most placid, easygoing guy ever. And I thought, what on earth is that about? But at the end of my work day, I remember going in and saying to my husband, I don't know what that was about, but you know what, I'm really going to take it seriously, because it was so forceful, and my dad wasn't that sort of person. So I then took a Friday out of my diary, and to this day, there is still a Friday out of my diary. I don't work Fridays. But interestingly enough, I didn't understand the message at the time, because, I went to the gym, I looked after my grandchildren, I don't smoke, I don't particularly drink a lot, I, eat reasonable. I thought, I don't know what that's about. And 2 weeks later, I had a heart attack. And I had to have a stent fitted. And when I was in hospital, they discovered that my artery was 95% closed. And he couldn't really find a reason for it. He said, your blood pressure's normal, your cholesterol's normal, you're not massively overweight, you're not, he said, I really don't know. And then he worked out that I've actually got my father's genes, because my father died at 43 with a heart issue. So what I'm saying to you is that there are situations when you have a reading that you just aren't going to understand it all at that time, but always take the message. And I always say, if you get a health message, action it. Whatever they're telling you to do, whether it's stop smoking, whether it's do a bit more exercise, whatever it might be, action it. Because they'll only give you a health message if they can do something, not if something can't be done. So it's almost that's a warning for you. Okay, I used to have a lovely gentleman. Unfortunately, he has passed away now, but he used to fly in from America to see me. And the only reason he used to fly in and see me was because I once gave him a health message. And he said, Lesley, you saved my life. And I said, no, I don't think I saved your life. I think they saved your life. But he would always come for a health check. And it's like, no, I need to have a health check with you just to see if everything's all right. But he continued to not necessarily listen to my messages. And evidently his sister told me just a short while ago that he turned around, one of his last words he said to her was, I wish I'd listened to Lesley more. So I don't remember my readings. I don't remember my messages. But trust me, when they're coming through about health, they will certainly be trying to help us and point us in the right direction. So that was, I wanted to just sort of go over that and just explain how you are. Also, it's very important when you're choosing a reader that you understand what the difference between a psychic and a medium, and even a psychic medium, because a medium is somebody that is just going to generally just link with people that's passed, or people in spirit, and will give messages via that way. A psychic will work with spirit, but not necessarily your family. It's spirit connection, and they could work with their guides or whoever they work with in spirit to get the right information. Both the information can be equally as good and equally accurate. It's just coming from a slightly different realm, if you like. And then a psychic medium like myself works on both levels. So most of the time I do work with people that have passed, because that's just naturally the way that I work. However, yeah, that's fine, Dave. However, what I will say to you is that if, I can equally work. Not everybody's got somebody in spirit. So sometimes it's okay for me just to work with my guides and helpers to get the right information there. So, so that's just the difference between the readers. Okay, I have now a lovely lady from New Jersey, and it's Michelle. Yes, Michelle? Hello.
How are you?
Hello, Michelle. How are you?
I'm good. I'm doing okay.
Good. How can I help you this evening?
Um, well, I just want to see how my son is going to do with his recovery.
Okay. Can I ask you, is your father in spirit?
My father, no. My grandfather, yes.
Okay. He comes through as like a father for you, Michelle?
Yes, he was like my father.
He was
Mhm.
like your father. That's perfect because we've just been talking about examples of how people will come through. He's very much around you. I'm going to be honest, I'm very shaky around you, Michelle. He gives you like you're very shaky at the moment. So you must have been through the mill and back again.
My son has been in a coma for a week, and he just
Ah,
came out of it like
yeah.
yesterday.
Yeah. Do you understand why but you're very shaky, is what he was giving me. You're very shaky. Okay. Um,
Yes,
I don't,
anxiety.
yeah, I know. I don't know what was going on with your son, but was he in either some sort of accident or something went wrong?
Yes, he had anaphylactic and an asthma attack and allergies, and it caused his throat to close, and he was on a ventilator for days, and they
Okay.
told us he would have to, yeah, terrible.
Yeah. Okay. Here's where I am with you. I felt as if your son maybe wasn't paying attention to what he was eating or drinking or something. I don't quite get it. But your grandfather said he wasn't paying attention. But I do feel it's been a massive warning for him. I do think that the recovery will be kind of slow to start with, but I do think that he will come. He will come good. He talks about his speech, so I don't know if it's going to be affecting his speech initially. But he says it will be a slow process, but we will get there. Then all of a sudden, I think after about 3 weeks, we really turn a corner. But I feel that he needs to take more care, Michelle.
Yes, he does.
Yeah, because I felt like he was aware. Your son is a bit blasé, for want of a better word to put it. And what I mean by that is, oh yeah, it doesn't really matter, or yeah, yeah. Do you know what I mean? He's very
Well, he's
chilled about it
autistic.
all. Ah,
He,
that
he's
okay.
autistic, so he's
Okay, that
just
kind of
like,
makes sense. He doesn't get it.
sometimes
He
he
doesn't get
doesn't
it.
get it or realize
No,
how
I
things
understand.
that can be really dangerous.
Yes, that's well. I don't know how autistic he is because I'm feeling like he's not as bad as what he could be. Is what your granddad says to me. So I think it's a case of maybe trying to get those messages across. He tells me he's quite a fun young boy, though.
Yes, he is a fine young boy.
Yeah, and he likes singing. Evidently, I don't know if he sings badly or well. It doesn't matter, but he enjoys music and singing. So your granddad said he will
He
be
loves
fine.
music, yep, and
Loves
singing
music.
Juice
Yeah.
WRLD.
Absolutely. He's telling me he loves la, la, la. I mean, I don't know what sort of noise he's making, Michelle, and it's absolutely irrelevant. But I am going to say to you, as long as he enjoys it, that's the most important thing because life is all about doing things we enjoy, not necessarily what we excel at. But what he does say to me is that, he will be looking after him. But I do feel like we need to keep some things out of harm's way or maybe label him in a way that he would maybe understand that. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah. Yeah, he's gonna
Okay.
probably leave with like the shot for anaphylactic, in case he has some allergies again or
Yeah, yeah. Okay. But he's going to be fine. I think it's like a massive shock to him. I think it's also, look, I want to send lots of healing to you because the way that your granddad showed it was like there is a lot of shaking going on with you, not in a good way, not dancing shaking, but shaking in a way that, you know, um, you probably need some healing yourself at the moment. Do you get what I'm saying to you? I
oh
also
my
want to
God,
say,
100%.
yeah,
Oh,
I
I
also,
just did healing the other night. I went and had some body work done, and my body was physically shaken from the
there you go.
Reiki.
There you go. And that's what he was saying. That's exactly how I felt when I came through to you, that I was literally shaking. The other thing is, my love, I feel that you don't always have as much support. I don't know what goes on around you. Is his dad not around?
His who? Dad?
Your boy's dad?
No, yes, his biological dad is not always around, um, but his stepfather is always around. But his biological dad has come around um, in this hospital visit, and he's been here quite a few times, which has been like a
Okay.
miracle.
Well, I was going to say, because your grandfather says it's about time too. So I knew that he wasn't around a lot. So he was just validating that. He wants to kind of congratulate you how much you've done on your own, because even though his dad wasn't around now, I don't think he's ever really been much around. So even when he was technically
Right.
around, it was never, you understand? So he says you've done
Yes.
so much on your own and you should be very proud of yourself. And he has grown into a beautiful young boy. Does the number 13 mean anything to you?
He will be 13 in December.
Perfect. Okay, because he gave me the number 13. So he will be there certainly around for his next birthday. And your son evidently likes, I know this is a bit young for a 13-year-old, but your son likes lots of balloons.
Balloons?
Balloons.
Yeah, they're in the office. They're in the hospital room right now with us. We have
Okay.
6 of them.
Okay. Well, he likes them. So although he's 13, obviously he may feel a little bit younger. One thing about your son, he's quite, he likes putting things together. He's got quite a mechanical brain.
Yes, he does. He likes
Yeah.
to take things apart and then put them together.
Put them back together again. Yeah. So realistically, I don't know if he's going to do something with car mechanics or electronics or something about putting stuff together. But he said, be careful of your Hoover. So I have a feeling your son might like to take your Hoover apart, and then we've got no idea how to put it back together again. I don't know. Something about
That's funny.
does that
Well,
make
he's
sense?
destroyed a lot of our electronics. He's
Ah,
broken 4 TVs. He's broken
oh, bless you.
a couple
Okay.
video gaming
Okay.
systems. Yes, because of the aggression. So we've been through a lot with that.
Well, bless you, Michelle. What I think he's saying to me is that what he's really, is maybe the Hoover's the next on the list. And I think that you would actually probably crucify him if he actually fucked up your Hoover, because that means you probably like your house kept clean and tidy all the time. With a broken Hoover, that's not going to go down too well. I just want to acknowledge the stepfather a moment, because your grandfather says he never met him. Is this correct?
That's correct. He passed in 2006.
Okay, because he says, I never met him, but he is a fine figure of a man, he tells me. I don't quite know what that means, Michelle, but he does tell me that. And he also says that he was brought in your life to save you.
He was brought into our life to save me and my 2 children.
Yeah. He said, and trust me, your granddad had something to do with that. He says, that's a gift from me.
You know what? I believe it, because I was staying with my parents, and all of a sudden on the TV channel, Christian Mingle came up, and it kept flipping, and I'm like, nobody's touching the TV. And then I went on Christian Mingle, and that's where I found my husband.
There you go. I know he was a gift from spirit for you. He is a very treasured gift for you. It's like he's there to save you. And so your relationship has the biggest blessing from spirit, Michelle.
Oh, it really does.
All right.
Yes, thank you so much.
You're very welcome. And your little girl's good at dancing.
What was that?
Your little girl is good at dancing, yes? Do you have a girl?
I have a little girl. She's going to dance soon, right?
Yeah, she's dancing.
She's going to be 3. She'll be 3 years old. Yeah, that's Noah's baby sister.
Oh, bless her. Okay, well, I'm going to say she's going to enjoy dancing. Okay. I'm going to leave that with you. I hope that was okay for you, Michelle. And it's been lovely to be able to pass the messages on from your lovely granddad, who's been delighted to be able to come through for you. He was straight here for you, but he comes through like your father, I can tell you, rather than your grandfather.
Yeah, he was always like my father. Thank you so much. My father's in my life, but we never were very close like that. Gotten better since like the last few years, but my grandfather was definitely like my...
One last thing. Your grandfather puts his hand in his pocket and he gives you some money.
Oh, we need it.
He gives you some money, and I feel it's like that's what I always did. I always put my hand in my pocket and gave you money.
Oh, thank you, Grandpa. I miss
I'll
you.
leave it with you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye, lovely. Bye-bye. Yes, sorry, if I got the next caller, I do apologise, but if I can have the next caller, sorry. Jenna. Hello, Jenna, how are you?
Hi, I'm not too bad, thank you.
Hello, Jenna, how are you? I've got an English lady, yes?
Pardon?
Are you English?
I can,
Hello, are you
I can hear you now.
Okay. Can you hear me or not?
Yeah, now
Can you
I
hear
can,
me?
yes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, my ears are crackling a little bit. I don't know, it's my speakers tonight. Sorry, how can I help you, Jenna? Hello, how can I help you?
Hello?
Hello, how can I help you?
Yeah, just for a reading.
Okay, what sort of reading did you want? What are you looking for? Is it guidance on something? Is it somebody from spirit? What are you looking for, my love?
Somebody from spirit.
Okay. And I connected to your mum's side, can you tell me?
Pardon? My mum's dad.
Is it from your mum's side of the family is what I'm asking you? I'm so sorry, I can't hear you very well, Jenna. Is it from your mum's side of the family you wanted them?
It could be both.
Okay, all right. Okay, I have a very happy man here for you. I kind of, I want to say Jim or James is connected somehow to him. Hello. Maybe not his name, but
no.
What's your mum's dad? Is your mum's dad in spirit, yes?
I can't hear you.
Your mum's dad is in spirit, yes? I don't think we've got a good connection here. I can't. I'm so sorry, Jen. I can't hear you. I can't hear what you're saying.
I put a loudspeaker a bit so I can hear. My mum's dad has lost somebody, and my dad's as well.
Okay, so your mum's dad is still here. Is that right? Then is that what you're saying?
My mum's here, still here, yes.
But her dad is in spirit, yes?
My dad is, yes.
Her dad, yes. And is the name James? I keep getting the name James.
James. No, I don't know James.
I think your mum would. I'm being told your mum would. Anyway, I've got your granddad here for you. Can you tell me? He takes me to his chest. What did he pass with, my lovey? I've got real pressure on my chest with him.
My granddad, I didn't meet him. He died of diabetes.
Okay, but he takes me to his chest. When you say diabetes, do you know if he got like pneumonia at the end, or he just keeps taking me to his chest, my love?
No, but my dad had a problem with his respiratory system. He died of a heart attack.
Your dad died of a heart attack?
Yeah.
Perfect. Not perfect, but you get what I'm trying to say, Jenna. I do apologise, but I think the older person brought the younger person through for you, because I had pressure on my chest. So that's what I was saying. What did they pass with? Okay, he's just sorting himself out. He feels like a big presence, your dad, Jenna. So he's not a shy man.
Oh,
you know
not.
When I'm here, he goes. You know when I'm here. Your dad had a big presence about him. He goes, do you know when I'm here? There's like a presence about him.
Yes, he said bubbly. He's a joker as well.
Yes, there you go. I said a fun man. But what I'm going to say is, you know, when he was in the room, this is not somebody that's a shy person. You know, I want to say quite loud, but you'd know that he was in the room. Do you get what I'm trying to say to you?
Yes, definitely.
Okay. I also want to say to you that I felt that you and he were very close.
We were towards the end.
Well, he
He's more
talks about
close
it.
to my brother.
Well, here's where I am. I see you as a little girl sitting on his knee, so I don't know how far he's going back. But I felt that I was going to say he wasn't so happy with your mum. So will you understand that message?
Yes, because of the divorce.
Yeah, but he wasn't happy with your mum. I don't know what it was all about, Jenna. Look, your dad is here for you. I have only got a few minutes left, but what I do want to say to you is sorry. I think Grandad brought your granddad through, but certainly the man with the heart and the happy person came through for you. And there is a Jim or James connection. You can work that out. What he wants you to know is that he died quite lonely, my love. Was he on his own?
Yes, he was, yes.
He says, I died lonely. But I felt that Dad hadn't always made the best choices, my love, in his life. And that he says a lot of it was his blame, him to blame.
Yes, that's right, yes.
Okay? So I don't want anybody this side of life who says taking on things that they shouldn't do, like would have, should have, could have, because he felt like he made some very bad choices in his life. And I'm talking about quite bad choices here. But I felt that he was too young to get married, certainly too young to be in his head, not necessarily in reality, but certainly was a man that wanted to do his own thing, is what he tells me. Do you understand that, Jenna?
Yes, I do, yes.
Do you have a sister, my love?
Yes, but look, she's got a different dad.
That doesn't matter. He wants to say that they've been helping her in spirit for something. I don't, like I say, there's no step in spirit. Something to do with your sister has needed help, and so spirit have been stepping in. I'm going to have to leave it there, my love, because I've only got a few minutes left. I do apologise, but I hope that's been a little bit of comfort for you anyway. But your dad is okay, but doesn't want anybody carrying anything around with them is the big message. All right.
Oh, okay, thank you.
All right, Jenna, all the best. Okay, my lovey. Anyway, it's been lovely on my first half-hour show. I hope you've all enjoyed it as much as I have. I will be back next week and there'll be a little bit something different. I'm going to introduce you to one of my team next week that help me out when I'm busy because I do shows and other things and teaching, so I can't do everything. So I'll see you all next week. Have a lovely week. 7:30 next Tuesday or 2:30, I think it is in the US. Anyway, bye-bye for now. Anyway.